Hello art friends, and welcome to another sketchbook vlog. This episode is Seashells, and we are using Ohuhu alcohol markers. Again! My last video I did frogs, and now I wanted to try some seashells. So I was so excited to continue my Ohuhu alcohol marker journey. After trying out my markers with frogs, I decided to move on to something else and something super colourful and fun, so I chose seashells. And I just absolutely loved how well my frogs turned out, and yeah, I just wanted to keep the fun explorations going. And I do think that seashells, while they look pretty intimidating colour-wise, they're actually perfect exercises for beginners. And looking back, it's actually, I really should have started with the spread, the seashells, and you can maybe see the pigeons, which will be next week's video, spoiler. I really should have started with these before the frogs. I felt like they were just a couple colours, and yeah, they were just quite easy. And I felt so creative and so playful when I was painting, drawing, colouring, I don't know what we call colouring with markers, I'll just say maybe colouring, when I was colouring these seashells, which is really the reason we do this, isn't it? The joy and fun we get from being in that creative state and just having a play. And yeah, I'm about to sound like a cliche here, but I'm truly in my phase of finding joy in the everyday, the small moments, and reclaiming my inner child. And honestly, using these markers, it really makes me feel like I'm playing. And what more could you want from that? Obviously for it to turn out and look really good too, you know. We want that too. I feel like my process for my marker drawings is somewhat settling, and I'm feeling really quite happy and confident with it. As you'll see if you've watched my frog video, and at the start of this video, that I like to start with swatching. I don't show it for every single seashell or every single like changing colours, but I do it before each one. And I just take a bit of mixed media paper that I have that I keep in my marker pack, and I just pick out the colours, eyeballing them from the swatch guide, and I sort of play with them, put them on a bit of paper, layer them on top of each other, see how they sit, see if it's the colours that I want. So then when I get started on the actual painting, colouring, drawing of my subject, I go in there with already a bit of a wee plan in my head of where I'm putting each colour, where I'm layering it, what I see in the reference photo, and what colour I have to represent that, and it all kind of forms on the page. It's like creating a wee thumbnail without actually having to draw out little thumbnails. It's just a scribble thumbnail. So tip-top advice there. Scribble thumbnails. And I think the first seashell on this page that I did is really quite simple too. It's just a couple of colours layered in, and it really helps it all come out together. So, full disclosure, this seashell is my favourite. It was my favourite reference photo that I picked, and I'm absolutely in love with the colours and the patterns that these colours exhibit on the shell, and I was really excited to get in and really try and see if I could replicate that. As I believe I've said before, I do tend to start maybe with my least favourite reference photo to kind of warm up and get into the groove a little bit, so like if any sort of mistakes that I make, or if it just takes me a minute to get feeling a bit loose and creative, then that's done on my least favourite of the reference photos. So I really tried to match my strokes to try help in creating the style and the pattern that I wanted from this one. I kept everything very loose, trying not to spend too much time thinking about the individual strokes of colour. So I just picked my colours and dot them about in a similar-ish way to what I'm seeing in my reference photo. So I'm on a bit of a sea themed kick lately as well. August is here, and with it we finally have nice weather in Scotland and it finally feels like summer. So I've been spending a lot of time at the beach. I've started going sea dipping in the North Sea, which has been super fun and super cold, but really enjoyable. And I even did my first surf lesson, which I absolutely loved. Obviously didn't catch any waves. It was still we just practiced paddling, you know. But I loved it, and I'm going to start paddleboarding too. So I thought I'll channel all my love for summer, the beach and the sea into my art and have fun with it. And I find the addition of the coloured pencils really adds so much extra depth and texture, which I am so in love with, especially for textured subjects like these seashells. And of course, I have to add my Posca Pen highlights. And then, just like that, we are on to the next shell. So, with this one, it has so much colours and textures that looking at it, it was definitely overwhelming. So I always just lay down my base colour to sort of get me started and know that that colour is going to be peeking through, that cool grey. And I just broke it down and started with the biggest blocks of colours I could see, which was the blue and the orange. I kind of used a stippling technique too, just dotting about my pen to really allow for the colours to take up enough space on the page, because I think strokes would have been it would have taken up too much space, I think, and I really wanted, you can see from the reference photo that all the colours kind of merged together, except for maybe slightly bigger areas of the blue and orange, but I really wanted all the colours to mingle and come through together. I also really wanted with this one to achieve the movement and shape that you can see in the reference, so I really tried to do that with my ink pen here. looking at it, I really wanted to add more depth to my two main original colours, which was the blue and the orange, so I did that with my coloured pencils. And finally, we're on to the starfish. So this is definitely a trust the process example, this one. So I really thought that I'd mess this up. Like, I truly hated it. And like, I know they all go through a transition or a phase where it kind of doesn't look like it's gonna come together. But especially with this one, I was just like, I've added this really deep dark color. It isn't the right color. I wasn't achieving the movement that I could see in the picture. And I thought where I put the colours, where I placed them, I was like, I've totally messed this up. but even so, like, you have to keep going with it. You have to see if you can pull it together, and I kept going, and it was a real trust the process moment for sure. Thank you so much for watching my seashell marker video, and next week I will be doing pigeons. Yay! Hope to see you then. Bye!